Stated by Nick Cook. You take a seat. The car is locked out of the station. The chain grabs the first car and hoists the train up a steep hill. Clink, clink, clink. The train shudders and seems to drop backward. You look at the rails along the track. They seem awfully old. When was this thing built, you wonder? The Civil War? The first car reaches the top of the hill. For a second, the train approaches the first steep drop. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea, you think. The train hesitates as if it's trying to make up its mind. Then the cars plunge. The ground blurs. Your eyes water. Air stings your face. You try to remember to breathe. The train hits bottom and rockets up the next hill. You feel as if you left your stomach behind. You crest another hill. Back down you go. Then suddenly you turn left. Right, up, down, left, down, up. The cars brake suddenly, and your screams die down. The train's coasting to the station like a purring cat. The nightmare is over, and you think, can I go again? If you haven't guessed it, my presentation is on roller coasters. After many years, roller coasters have become the central attraction at home parks across the United States. We're going to look at the history of roller coasters, types of roller coasters, the fastest and tallest roller coaster, and a few tips on how to overcome the fear of roller coasters. So where to begin but the history of roller coasters? It begins in Russia in the 1400s or 1500s. It began as ice sledding, which was a popular sport in Russia. They used to build 70-foot hills made out of wood with very steep hills, and then they would take snow, pack it down on there, spray water on it, and then freeze it. They would go down the hills on sleds. And eventually they added wheels to the sleds so they could ride them in the warm months. There are two types of roller coasters. There's the wooden roller coaster that rides on rails supported by wooden boards, kind of like a train track. And then there's also steel coasters, which ride on a long steel tube. Coaster types can also be identified by the kind of twists and curves that they have. One of them is a hypercoaster. Any steel, non-inverting out and back or twister roller coaster that stands between 200 and 299 feet tall and sets out to give riders airtime or big drops. The flying coaster is considered more of a lay-down coaster with flying segments. Riders are loaded into the car, facing backwards, and before dispatch, the trains are tilted backwards into the lay-down position. At the top of the left hill, the trains perform a lie-fly element built to a 180-degree turn, flipping them into the flying position. And the first roller coaster was in Paris in 1804, and it was called the Russian Mountains. One of the fastest roller coasters is the Formula Rossa, which reaches speeds up to 159 miles per hour. The King de Ca comes in second, which goes as fast as 128 miles per hour. And the Top Thrill Dragster, that reaches 120 miles per hour, is the third fastest. The King de Ca is also the tallest roller coaster with a height of 456 feet. And here's a picture to show how high it is. And then the Top Thrill Dragster reaches a height of 420 feet. And the third tallest roller coaster is the Superman The Escape, that goes to 415 feet. And now a few tips on how to overcome the fear of roller coasters. First, you want to choose rides that have a more substantial harness system. They will embrace your whole body, instead of just a lap bar. The more snug you are, the greater the illusion of safety that you will be. Second, you want to hold on tight. If your knuckles aren't white, you aren't holding on tight enough. The less your body flings around, the more that you will feel in control. You always want to go with a sympathetic but not encouraging friend. People don't respond well to group peer pressure, and they may pressure you into going onto the roller coaster, and you will just be more scared and frightened of doing it. You want to go with a person that's less fearful than you, but still fearful enough that will be able to coax you through the ride and get you through it. And remember, the smaller the child, the easier the ride. The younger and shorter the requirements, the easier and less frightening the ride will most likely be to you. And it will help pressure yourself into taking the leap. of going onto that roller coaster and also going on to bigger and better roller coasters. And the fifth tip to overcoming the fear of roller coasters is to scream. The louder and more ridiculous you laugh or your scream seems, the more fake your fear will seem to you. And screaming can also help take your mind off of the ride and get you through it till the end. Now that you know a little bit about the history of roller coasters, the two types of wooden roller coasters, wooden and steel, the fastest roller coaster, which reaches a mile of 149 miles per hour, the tallest roller coaster that reaches a height of 456 feet, and also a few tips to help you overcome the fear of roller coasters. Since you know a little more about roller coasters, I hope you will enjoy your next or first roller coaster ride.